Thank you. Thank you, Hongo. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay? That's a good thumbs up from everyone. Um, if we haven't met, my name is Fusho. I'm a senior student at the Village Zendo. So I just want to say hello on this sort of bright spring evening. We had a lot of sunshine in New York today, and the days are getting longer. Everything's blooming, and it's really feeling like we're in full spring mode. Blossoms around. I was just thinking about how different it feels this spring than it did last spring. Because it's been about a year, a little more than a year, and that at this time last spring, everything was shutting down, and the pandemic was really, we were in the middle of it right here in New York, early stages of just being right in the middle of, ground zero of the pandemic. So we were shifting inward, and we had to, a lot of us came into the home, and we were working on sheltering in place. Everything was really quiet and scary. And so I just have been thinking about this year that we've all had, unlike any other year, and some of the losses and big changes that we've gone through, not just because of the pandemic, a lot of political upheaval, a lot of racial injustices being brought to light, coming back into the focus, and really, really topsy-turvy upheaval, I would say, for most of us. So now this spring, we're sort of at this phase of, can we go back? Do we go back? What's it going to look like? What's normal now that we have access to vaccines and perhaps can start to interact in real life? There's a lot of hybrid, I think, conversations happening and scenarios going on, but we are shifting for sure. And so for me, I think my concern, or what I'm wondering about, is how will we take it with us, and how will it affect us? And will we try to forget all about it or just push it away so we can get back to whatever normal is? Or will we be able to sort of, honor it, memorialize it, and allow it to shift in whatever way it needs to? I think even if some of us haven't lost people personally, we've all experienced a lot of loss this year in different ways. And I know in 2 days, we're having a memorial for Kaku Sensei, who is one of our beloved teachers and a longtime Sangha member, who died last month from cancer. In our tradition, we honor people who are close to us with the memorial 49 days after their death. And traditionally, in person at a memorial, we offer incense and flowers, and we chant together. But we haven't been able to do that for any sort of memorials for the last year, as far as being together in person, which has made it even more painful for some of us. So this has just made me think a little bit about memorializing and honoring what we've lost. And there's a koan that appears in a couple places in our canon. It's called The Appearance of the National Teacher's Monument. It's in the Blue Cliff Record, and it's in the Book of Serenity. And one translation goes like this. Emperor Su Sung asked national teacher Hui Cheng, after you die, what will you need? Or another version is, 100 years from now, what kind of memorial do you want? And this national teacher said, build a seamless monument for me. He wanted a seamless monument. And the emperor said, please tell me, master, what the monument would look like. And the national teacher was silent for a long time. And then he asked, do you understand? And the emperor said, I don't understand. So the national teacher said, I have a disciple to whom I have transmitted this teaching, Tan Wan, who's well versed in this matter. Please summon him and ask him about it. And after the national teacher passed on, the emperor summoned Tan Wan and asked him what the meaning of this was. And Tan Wan said, south of Yang, north of Tan, in between there's gold sufficient to a nation. Beneath the shadowless tree, the community ferry boat. Within the crystal palace, there's no one who knows. Within the crystal palace, there's no one who knows. So the emperor was asking, how do I do this? How do I make a seamless monument for you? Please tell me what it should look like. And the national teacher didn't tell him. The national teacher was silent and then said, do you understand? And he didn't understand. But I think for me, what strikes me about this right now is the question, what would that look like? Because that's what we all always want to know, right? What is my perfect life supposed to look like, and how will I honor that? Or what is the right way to live my life? What is this awakened life that I'm supposed to be living? Please tell me. And as we know, our practice doesn't give us magic answers. But it does point us back to our own life and remind us, if we're too busy worrying what our life's supposed to look like, or how to make it right, or less uncomfortable, or just get it just right, we can miss it. And as a side note, traditionally, instead of a big palace or monument or palatial monument, a Zen master's memorial stone should be a simple untiered mound, like a mound of dirt or something very plain. So I think that the response was silence, but it wasn't saying you should be quiet. I think the response was saying, what would our life look like if we were satisfied with it, just as it was, without separating anything from ourselves, without separating ourselves from our life, or without thinking it's supposed to look like something else? What would that look like if we didn't think we had to add something extra to it, or if we didn't think it wasn't quite right, or there was something missing? I think the national teacher was silent because he couldn't define the perfect memorial in 100 years for him, because he couldn't. Only we can do that for ourselves. And how could he define what it would look like if we didn't grasp or push away our own individual, very beautiful and painful and ugly and happy and messy and short lives. So a few of us at the Zendo, including myself, used to maintain the flowers on the altar. And it's just one of the things that I've been missing so much. I've just been aching to be able to do a flower arrangement and put it on the altar at the Zendo. And I think there's something about doing it at the Zendo and the big altar that it makes it a shared experience. We can do it on our own home altars, and that's very nice. And it's a very good reminder of impermanence on our little altar. But I think that the main altar, particularly when we had memorials, offering flowers was so meaningful for me. And in our tradition, we offer white flowers for memorial, and that's the only time that we put the white flowers in the arrangements. The rest of the time, there are other colors. But I think that the meaning of the flower arrangement on the altar is very much an explicit example of impermanence and constant change. You know, the flowers, they change minute by minute, just like us, and they don't last long. So there's a scripture called the Parinirvana Sutra, which was apparently a big discussion that the Buddha had before he died. And basically the gist of and he was about to die, and the gist of it, advice was that you should know all things in the world are impermanent. And coming together inevitably means parting. And he said, do not be troubled, for this is the nature of life. Nothing is secure. All things in the world, whether moving or non-moving, are characterized by disappearance and instability. And I think the flowers show us that each form that we take in every minute is unique. And yet at the same time, there's nonstop flow. I think when we lose people, we have memories of them that change. So as we change, our memories of them can change. I think we all had obviously different unique experiences with our relationship with Kaku, or with any loved one that we've lost. My mother has been gone for about 20 years. She died over 20 years ago. And she happened to be the one that taught me how to make Japanese flower arrangements. And every time I do a flower arrangement still, you know, she's still with me. There's a different aspect or different feeling every time, but I really do feel this version of a seamless monument when I'm offering flowers, if I can get out of my own way and do it. And maybe when I'm gone, the flowers that I've offered, you know, will have led to someone else offering flowers in a way that I can't imagine. So if you can bear with me, I'd just like to offer a flower arrangement for all of us, for Kaku, but for all of us, just as a way to memorialize it. I'm going to turn on my other little camera here, and then I'll probably turn this one off. But hold on a sec. See if we can, yeah. Okay, I'm going to turn this camera off. And then, okay, would you mind just pinning this just while I'm doing the other one while I'm doing this? Well, it's a little busy, but hopefully you can see it. It'll be different in 5 minutes. In 5 more minutes, and tomorrow. Pretty soon it'll die. I'm gonna go back to my other camera. So I don't know, I just think it's a very meaningful way to experience our constant transformation. And I'll end with a poem from Kobayashi Issa. What a strange thing to be alive beneath cherry blossoms.